Hey guys, welcome to the Field of 68 YouTube channel. If you like what you see here, hit that subscribe button and you'll get more college basketball content just like this. Dagan Hughes, our producer, told me to start in the East. UConn is the 1 seed. We have 3 of last year's 4 Final Four teams in this bracket. We have the number 4 seed, Auburn Tigers, who are a top 5 team on KenPom and just won the SEC tournament. You have Illinois, you have Iowa State, who was the other team that we thought was going to have a shot to be able to win the 4th number 1 seed. They went out and they won the Big 12 tournament. Illinois won the Big 10 tournament. You have 4 conference tournament champions in the top 4 seeds in the East region, potentially heading to Boston. Jeff, let's start with this. Where do you see UConn potentially getting tripped up in this bracket?
In the second round. FAU. I'm not saying they're going to lose, but, man, I wouldn't want to see them. As I said, you want to see that team that went on a Cinderella run last year that is dangerous as hell when they're playing their A game because they've got guards that can make plays off the bounce. They do have a legitimate big when he's on his game in Vlad Golden that can score in the post. He can run the floor. He can rebound. He can cause some issues for Donovan Clingan. Now, they're not big on the wing. That's the one thing you worry about with them, with Caravan. They don't really have anybody who can match up with Caravan. But I love that game. I hope we get it because, again, FAU could come out. They could lose by 30 or they could win that game, and it wouldn't shock me.
Randolph?
I agree with you, Jeff.
Let me ask you this. Is the East the toughest region? The more that I look at it, I think that the East is probably, we always say like the region of death, right? I think that's probably the East. For me, it's either the East or the Midwest.
And the South is the easiest. I'll say that. Kentucky, literally, if I'm Cal, I'm like popping champagne right now when I saw this thing. Now, again, I'm not saying they're going to get there, and we'll get there. We'll get there eventually. But
stop jumping around, man. Stop slandering Cal, Jeff. Let us break down the East. Let me talk about my UConn Huskies here. All right,
I'm looking at it here.
I'm getting ready to say, Jeff. That's what he wanted. He wanted to run his, get on his UConn run right here.
I know he did. We don't want to take him away from that.
No, we can't take this moment.
It's tough, but I don't know if it's the toughest. Again, Iowa State, they're really good. Are they as scary as Arizona or Tennessee? Probably not. Most teams would say they'd rather play Iowa State than Tennessee or Arizona. Illinois, they're dangerous, but again, they haven't done anything in the NCAA tournament under Brad or under anybody in a long time. San Diego State's not the same team. Auburn doesn't scare me. So I don't think the East is that tough. I just think UConn's got a really, really scary second round game. Much scarier than probably any other number 1 seed.
Let me tell you about our newest partner for the month of March, SplashSports, the home of certified community competition, where you get to play against your friends and not the house. Whatever game it is that you are playing, from survivors to tiers to pick X, the safest way to play for real money without the hassle of having to track down deposits or worry about payments is through Splash. They have partnered with PaySafe, the best deposit and payment system in the world, to ensure that money stays in safe hands and is delivered to the right places. To join the Field of 68 Survivor Madness, click the link in our profile below and join in. Entries are $5 a pop with a prize pool of up to $4,500. Winner take all. Randolph?
I think the scariest thing about it, Jeff, is that, whether people want, when you get into these games, they can get boo-booed as well. I mean, you got a guard that can just flat out just go and that can change a game. Yeah. So it's never going to be easy. I wouldn't dare pick against UConn early, but it's scary when you got a guard, and even John L. Davis for that matter. I mean, you got guard play. They're going to play a guard in that second round that can just flat out go. And it's different because they're going to be able to be like, man, get a ball at the top of the key. We're just going to say, hey, we're not going to run a whole bunch of stuff. We're going to put Donovan Clingan in ball screens for 40 minutes type of deal. And they got the guard play, particularly, obviously, FAU to do that. So I'm not picking against UConn, but it can get interesting. And like I said, we're talking about FAU, but Boo Boo is a dude that we know can single-handedly put you on his back and carry you for a game.
Well, he did that when they beat Purdue earlier this year, and we saw
Right.
what he can do in drop coverage. We literally said he's the guy to solve the answer to the Zach Edey problem. And you know what UConn does? They play a lot of drop coverage. So that is definitely one. I saw – we talked about this earlier, like two guys who can put a team on their back and make a run to the Final Four out of nowhere. And two of the four guys that we mentioned were John L. Davis and Boo Buie, and they're going to get each other in the first round. That actually is going to be an electric first-round game, Northwestern against Florida Atlantic, which is a very weird thing to say in the year 2024, but that will be a really, really interesting game. Where's the most interesting game here for you, Randolph? Like, what are you going to circle and say, like, when I'm watching these first round games here in the East, this is the one that you cannot miss?
I think it's that one because of those guard play. I think that game right there is the game because you're going to find out. I mean, you're going to see a team in Northwestern that had some injuries, but there's still a team that, again, when you have a dude, nobody's expecting him to go on a big run and make it to Phoenix or anything like that. But if Boo Buie's on his game, they got a chance to beat anybody, and particularly when you play with a big and drop coverage, because we've seen them do it against Purdue, which is it's only two teams we considered all year long. It took a while before Houston got there and Carolina and some of these other teams, but from the very beginning of the year, the two most consistent teams throughout the country was Purdue and UConn, and they play in drop coverage. And for guard plays, man, that's you got a guard like that can flat out do it at all three levels. He can make it interesting. So that first round game against the Final Four team and Northwestern with Boo Buie, to me, is the game I like to see of the first round from in the Eastern bracket.
All right, Goodman. Let me ask you this: we have Iowa State, we have Illinois, we have Auburn. Iowa State gets South Dakota State in the first round. That is TJ Otzelberger's old job. He left South Dakota State to go to UNLV, and then UNLV to Iowa State. We have Illinois getting Morehead State in the first round, and we have Auburn getting Yale. I actually think that Yale matchup is interesting. Out of those three, I think we can all agree that UConn's not going to get Purdue or Virginia in the first round. Hopefully not. Maybe I'm jinxing it. But out of the next three, like, is there a higher seed here that you can see being in a little bit of trouble when it comes to the tournament?
I mean, you want to say Yale, right? Don't you, over Auburn? Just because while Auburn's guards are way more athletic than Yale's, they're not guys that are going to, like, they're not lightning quick, So, like, and again, Yale, they struggled today, but they've got really talented bigs. They've got 3 or 4 guys that can really hurt you. They've got shooters. I don't know. I mean, again, I'm not sure they win this, but I'm just not. And I sometimes I don't like the teams that win, like in the SEC tournament, like Auburn did. I just wonder if they're going to come down to earth a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Randolph?
I don't consider like a 7-10. When I started talking about upset, I'm looking at traditionally like the 5-12 game. And for a UAB team that coming in off winning the conference tournament, against San Diego State, a team that we were all up and down. I mean, they're a tournament team, no question, but we were kind of questioning with Lee being your best players. How good can they be? That's an interesting game, an interesting matchup for me. But I think we'll dive into it as we get throughout the show. But it's always look for that as like the upset bracket at the moment. The 5-12 game is always the more interesting one. 7-12, I think, is just a decision on who's in those spots.
Yeah, there are 2 5-12 games in this bracket, RC, that I circled as soon as we saw the bracket come out. It's not, neither of them are in the East region. I all due respect to Andy Kennedy. I think that they are walking into a, you got a San Diego State team that is old. You got an All-American 5, man. You got guards that have been through it before, and you got Brian Dutcher, who knows how to be able to go out and win games in March. I think that's a really, really tough matchup for UAB in the first. A UAB team that needed to win the AAC's automatic bid to get that 12 seed and get in the tournament. The one that I circled here, I don't think Illinois will have trouble with Morehead State. I think if Illinois plays BYU in the second round, that's the one that I'm circling. Sorry, Trevor, but I think that is going to be it. With the amount of stuff that BYU runs offensively and the way that they can create shots, I can see that being a problematic thing for Illinois' defense to deal with. I really like that Yale-Auburn matchup, though. I think that I know that Yale's not necessarily the most athletic team, but I do think that they have the size inside to be able to deal with Auburn's bigs, and Auburn has one of the better front lines in the country. And I'm just not that concerned about Auburn's backcourt. So I like that Yale Auburn. The best month of the year is here, which is why you need to know that we are now partnered with BetMGM. We'll be using BetMGM lines to make all of our picks, and we'll have special offers for the listeners and the viewers of the Field of 68 all through the NCAA tournament. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, you can use the bonus code FIELD, and you will get up to a $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM, regardless of whether or not that bet hits. Here's the best part. All you need to do is deposit and bet $10 of your hard-earned money. This is how you make it work. Download the BetMGM app and sign up using the bonus code FIELD. Deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game, and you get up to $1,500 in bonus bets, regardless of the outcome of your bet. Just make sure you use that bonus code FIELD when you sign up. Most importantly, we do have some fun stuff coming for the conference tournaments and especially for the NCAA tournament. Bet insurance tokens, college hoops odds boosts, and what I love the most, a nice parlay boost for anything you could possibly imagine betting on in the NCAA tournament, from odds and getting an at-large bid to Final Four futures to the highest seed to make to the Sweet 16. I'm calling it right now. BetMGM is the king of the prop bet for your March Madness needs. So go download the BetMGM app, use the code FIELD, and sign up today. And while I've got you, a quick request: the best way to support the Field of 68 and our content you get for free is to engage with us. Rate and review the pod, like and share the YouTube videos, tell your friends about us. It helps in a world where the algorithm is king.